everyone, my name is Sandra Prather, and I'm an Oblate Associate of OMI Lacombe Canada and an Honorary Oblate. Today is Wednesday, March 16th, 2022. A number of years ago, I was preaching a retreat at Star of the North Retreat Center during Lent, and I was using the great spiritual writer Henry Nouwen's book entitled, "Can You Drink This Cup?" It's Nouwen's reflection on the question that Jesus asks his disciples today in the gospel. And I was very aware that among the retreatants were two very good friends of mine, a husband and a wife. And the wife was dying from cancer. She had had several bouts in previous years and had recovered, but the cancer had come back with a vengeance. And she had been told she had weeks to live, not months. And we all knew that. And I knew that they had come seeking some solace, some comfort, and some strength for what was to come in their lives. So that while I was preaching about holding and lifting and drinking the cup of suffering, Nouwen's 3 moments, I was very aware that I was speaking theoretically about something that was very real in their lives that could not be refused or escaped. And I was deeply humbled by that. That's why I was kind of, as a friend of mine would say, I was kind of gobsmacked when I read the disciples' response to Jesus' question in the gospel. Here we have Jesus. He's telling them he's going to be arrested. He's going to be condemned to death. He's going to be mocked and flogged and crucified. He's going to die, and he'll rise on the 3rd day, but it's going to be horrible. And the disciples' response, it seems to go right over their heads. Here you have the mother of James and John, the sons of Zebedee, and she's asking, "Yeah, but can my boys sit at your left hand and your right hand?" She's asking, can they share in your power and in your glory? And you got to think Jesus is dumbfounded, because he says, "You don't know what you're asking. Can you drink the cup that I'm about to drink?" And they rather blithely, it seems, say, yeah, sure, yeah, we think so, yeah, we're able. It's stunning in its ignorance, or maybe more kindly, in its naivete. Because no one should blithely say that they can drink a cup of suffering. Suffering is not a good thing. It's painful and it's real. And in the end, it kills us. And God does not welcome our suffering or will our suffering. Our God is a God of life who desires only good for us. And yet, suffering is a reality that comes into life, into every life. It's part of being human that these painful experiences come, and no one escapes death. It comes in part because we are finite creatures. We are gifted with beautiful bodies, but they're frail and they break down and they get sick, and in the end, they fall apart. It comes about because we are gifted with free will, and we can and we do make terrible choices that cause pain and suffering to ourselves and to others. We just have to look at what's happening in Ukraine right now. The cup of suffering is real, and at some point in our lives, we will be faced with it, and we will hear, "Can you drink this cup?" And we don't have to welcome it. We can be like Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane. We can ask for this cup to pass from us, but inevitably there will be a point when it cannot be refused or escaped. And what do we do then? What can one say to my friends on that Lenten day when their suffering is in their lives like a tsunami that takes over everything? Well, the only answer that I have that is able to bring perhaps a modicum of comfort, a moment of peace, or a scrap of strength is this: that the cup we drink is the cup of Christ. And taken in faith and trust, the cup of suffering also is the cup of salvation. You see, my friends are people of faith. They came turning to their God in their suffering, believing that what God had done in Jesus, God can and will do in us. This is the core of our faith. Jesus drinks the cup of suffering. He goes to the cross. He goes to his death. He hands everything over to the Father, into the Father's loving hands. And God receives it, and God transforms it into resurrected life, new life, and deeper life. It's the core of the Paschal mystery. It's what we live and proclaim every day, that the suffering and deaths of our lives will be transformed. Good Friday will always end in Easter. We do not live in the Garden of Gethsemane or on the hill of Golgotha. Our final destination is the Easter garden and the empty tomb. When I am asked to drink the cup of suffering, I ask only to remember that Christ is with me in that. Christ has already drunk that cup, and so I can take it and drink it only in Christ and with Christ. Therein lies my salvation.